Talk to me. Played the horn of the Lord and served other gods. Remember the days of old, we the lost tribes. They don't believe the Bible, they say a white man wrote it, but still celebrate them holidays from white men, don't they? Like Christmas and Thanksgiving appetites. I don't even see my closest family half the time. Going out ain't an option, I won't compromise. I got integrity and more heart than Valentine. Kyrie tweeted a book they sell on Amazon, owned by the same folks that told them to apologize. Remember slaves couldn't read, wasn't allowed, so it's meaning when I tell you I'm black and I'm proud. Murdered us with the sword, that's how we learned religion. Community standards violate my First Amendment. Discontinue from my heritage under these bastards. Life a bitch, they make up lies and give you public lashes. I understand they confused by who the devil is. Why my people get so mad when I tell them this? Valley of dry bones, my niggas skeletons. It's hectic out there, hope you checking on your relatives. Brotherhood, that's what my weapon is. And I never let these crackers take it from me. Real talk, you probably never heard this all of your life. Be careful, cause that thing you love, it'll cost you your life. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga.
Yeah.
We build this shit.
Nigga, I done lost family, I done lost friends. Day one, niggas thought was riding to the end. Still showed up, put in that work. Hide behind a smile while I'm walking with this hurt. Some nights I felt alone, most nights I felt cold. Some nights I drove around, I ain't wanna go home. Nigga, I ain't never been, nah, I ain't never fold. Follow orders like a soldier doing what I'm told. Even when the counsel wasn't making any sense, I ain't never doubted, I just put it to the test. Days I was fucked up and down to my last cent. Reaching in my pockets, only coming up with lint. I'm talking even on the days that I couldn't pay my rent. I put it down for my brothers, ain't spared no expense. If I ever got bent, caused an offense, please forgive your brother, Lord, that ain't what I meant. See that brotherhood a weapon, fight against deception. When something taken from you, then it's just a blessing. Shorty really loved me, gave me everything she got. And I'm sorry, baby girl, if I ever broke your heart. Man, mistakes that I made, don't know if they'll fade. Moving with a heavy heart, living with the pain. Take away the shame, wash away the stain. Praying to the Lord for the days that I was Cain. Sheesh.
Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood. Long as we got each other, my nigga. Cause we build this shit on brotherhood.
We won't let it change us, even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it. They want a fame, they want a clout, that's why they doubt. I got them black, I want a class, and I shut my mouth. This was way before polite, before I came to campsites. I came broken and contrite, I just wanted to live right, clean my soul and give my life. Had to give up on my vice, I got a fog out my head. I was raised from the dead, I put down that weed and I cut off my dreads. For before I could lead, I had to learn to be led. Now I'm a bad motherfucker, walk around and I straight flex on suckers. No one specific, I'm talking to all of you busters. Straight from the gutter, me and my brother, we the long supper. Now, running it like a conductor. Hebrew Academy, I'm the instructor. 14 written all on my cover. Men of war like we hopped at a Hummer. Just like you wanted my trooper could cut you. There is one camp, there is not another. One West, UBK. One West, UBK. One West, one West, one West, UBK. One what? UBK. One what? UBK. Want what? UBK. Me and all of my Oyes. Hold it, shit down. Right here, all day. Shalom, wagwan. Sa, Basay is we. Them niggas, Yatu, Sabe, hey. We gon' change the world, we won't let it change us. Even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. You in live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, Precinct Captain 10,000, NATAZACH NASHAH, out of ISUPK, under Commanding General YAHANNA, ready to get it on this biblical scripture breakdown class. The brother Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakathum, the sisters Yahweh Shemar Alathun by Hashem Yahushua. All right, all right. Everybody in here, Shalom, Shalom. The Akim on deck, the Princessian on deck. All right, Most High in Christ. Shalom, shalom. Biblical scripture breakdown class we'll be talking about tonight. It says God's laws will make life safe for blacks and Latinos. You understand? Black and Latino life is a very, very dangerous life, filled with uncertainty, trouble, and trauma. It's damn near the entrance exam to be one of us. Well, the Lord gave us rules, He gave us instructions on how to live our life the proper way. And a lot of the things that we end up suffering as a people, shalom, all right, shalom. A lot of the things we end up suffering as a people come from us disobeying the Most High and flat out not even understanding the way that the Lord set life up. The way that the Lord intended for life to function is a lot easier and a lot simpler than the thing that we have been taught by religion, by Christianity, Islam, by all of the other customs and cultures of different races of people who are not the children of God. All right. I'm going to give just a moment. Everybody, make sure you share, hit the like, thumb up, subscribe. You understand? All right. Give everybody just a few moments to get in here. Not to worry. We're getting a little bit late start, but nothing will be left out while we're getting loaded up in here. Is there anyone that has any questions while we are here in the room? This is the scripture breakdown class. For those of you that may be joining your first time, coming from wherever, anybody watching or seeing this, share to them. The Christian church does not teach what is in the Bible. That's why you're not able to ask the preachers, pastors, ministers, and imams. All of it is Christian church. You aren't able to ask them any questions because, one, they don't know what's actually in the Bible, and they don't understand the way that God set up the scriptures to be taught. That's why they're doing a bunch of singing when God said He does not want to hear any of our songs that are so-called dedicated to Him. God doesn't want anybody singing to Him. You understand? Shalom, sis. Most High in Christ. The day is tawab and busy, like every day, sister. God, it's going tawab, sis. The water for action, princess. All right. You understand? We got top quality princess in here. You understand? All right. So anybody got any questions? All right, that black and Latino people. Oh, goodness. All right, so what we're talking about is God's laws provide safety. All right, we're going to start with the Most High's laws. We're going to go to scripture here. Let's see, Shalom, I should say, okay, nobody knew. Okay, good. All right, so where we're going to start in Deuteronomy, of course, this is the book of the law. We're going to start at Deuteronomy. The Lord is saying, this is the book of the law. Very important to do. All right. Let's see. Take the book of the law, put it in the side. Bear with. All right. Bear with me just a moment. Just a moment. Which one do I want to start? Okay. Nobody. Nobody. Any questions? All right. I should be kidding. One. So, of course, we know we're going to start with what is the importance of this. We want to start with the New Testament because that's what we're in right now. And we also want to make sure that we always know first where the scriptures are. It's very important to know what and where the scriptures are. If you're in the truth, you come into the truth. This is what we need to understand. So we're going to start in 1 John 5, the 5th chapter. And we're going to start with 1 John chapter 5 and verse 1. And 1 John 5 and 1 says, get here, whosoever believeth that Yahweh Shai, which is Jesus' name in the Hebrew, is the Christ. The Christ meaning the anointed one, the Messiah in our language, Mashiach, or Messiah is what they say in English. So whoever believes that Christ is the Messiah, all right, is born of God, born of the Most High. Is very specific. All right. Then it says, and everyone that loveth him that begat, everyone that loveth him that begat or that's born of, loveth him also that is begotten of him. Meaning everyone that loves Christ loves the Most High. A lot of fake Israelites, Old Testament Christians, Old Testament Israelites, which don't exist, all of it's lies and a scam. They say that they don't believe in follow Christ. Nobody knows how to follow Christ outside of the UPK anyway, so they're all wrong. You understand? But this is what the Lord is explaining. Now, by this, we know that we love the children of God. Who are the children of God? The children of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the children of God. The Christian church has taken the Bible to the world that everyone is the children of God, and that is a lie. The children of God are a specific race, a specific family of people, and it does not include all the human beings on the earth that have children or families. It says, when we love God and keep his commandments. Now, all of this is built into the scripture that we're reading. We love the children of God, meaning that in order to love God, you have to love his children. In order to love God, you have to love Christ. You have to follow Christ. That's what it means for him to be the Messiah, the anointed one, the chosen one. We are supposed to follow Christ's example. Christ set up men to go out on the street and teach the Bible. While Christ did this, there were also men who refused to follow Christ and his disciples, known as the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Sicarii. All of them are people that hated Christ. They despised Christ. They refused to follow him. That is why they made their own groups and kept their own and appointed titles for themselves when it was very clear that the Lord appointed Christ and Christ appointed his disciples, which they themselves chose to rival because they do not love God, they do not love the children of God, and they do not love Christ. So all of this is contained in these scriptures. It says, when we love the Most High and keep his commandments. The Lord is getting ready to explain what love is. You understand? For this is the love of God, the love of the Most High. This is what it is. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments. To everyone in the world, love does not have a definition. Love is whatever you think. Love is however you feel at the time. Love is whatever emotional response that you can get. That's what love is. It's subject to change depending on the weather, how much money you have, how you feel, what season, your health. All these conditional things change what love is to the average person. God made it very clear, very open, and then he described with vivid descriptions 600 plus laws that identify what love is. These things do not change. That's why the Lord said, write them down. So that if someone says one thing or another, you can go to the source to prove all things. You can go to the source, which is what First Thessalonians 5:21 says, prove all things. Prove means to test by a standard. The standard of what's right, what's wrong, what's love, what's good, what's evil is recorded by the Most High in this Bible. The standard for the truth has always been out of 1 West 105th Street in Harlem, New York. It has been the standard. It remains the standard, which everyone rebels against to do their own thing so that they do not have to fall in line, which is what it means to serve Christ and to love the Most High. They refused to do it in Moses' day. They refused to do it in Noah's day. They refused to do it in Jeremiah and Ezekiel's day. They refused to do it with Elisha and Elisha and Mattathias, all the way up until Christ. And to this very day, they refused the disciples. They refused to follow Paul. They refused to follow Peter. And to this day, they still refuse to follow the prophets that the Lord had put in charge, which is Commanding General YAHANNA. They still refuse to this day. There's a reason. As this empire comes to a close, there's a lot of things that's going to happen. Because America is still structured and standing, a lot of the things that our people believe about God and about God being with them and on their side, they're very disillusioned because the God that most of our people believe and sing to is really just the white man's money, our oppressor's money. That's why every time you hear a pastor speak, he's speaking about blessings, money, a job, give me an offering. God is love, whatever song and dance and feel good thing, never any correction, never any knowledge, never any actual education about what God requires, what's in the Bible. It's all based on how you feel, which is why we're going over what love is. This is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous. They're not hard to do. The consequences for breaking his commandments, they are grievous. They're very grievous. And we're going to go over them, talk about how safe and wonderful life could be if we obeyed the Lord, and because we don't, how dangerous it is for blacks and Latinos. This is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. You should be able to see it. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. My reader gets here at 7:30. All right. 7:30 now, right? But this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. It's not a grievous thing to do. All right. Let's check, see anybody else. We got any questions? All right, we do have a question. Sister DeBar's got a question here. Let's see if we can make her question bigger. No, didn't get any bigger. It says, Salakia, sir, when asked about who we are and what we are about as women, are we able to explain, or do we defer to a priest? Yes, you can explain if someone asks you who we are. When you say who we are, can you specify a little bit more about what you mean if someone asks who we are? Like, why are you wearing a shield and a head wrap? Who is the ISUPK? What is all this that you're doing? Your religion or your belief, who we are? Can you give me just a little bit more on your question so I can give you a more comprehensive answer, please? Who we are. Let's see if we can get some more. Who we are. Just give me a little bit more. Who we are. Who we are. But the sister that asked the question, Sister DeBar, if you could give me a little bit more as to what you mean by who we are. If someone asks who you are, like what context, what are we talking about? If someone has a question about the school, of course, everyone can give them the school number. They'll be able to call, leave a voice message, or someone will be able to answer and break down to them. We got schools just about in almost every state in the country and many other surrounding countries all across, the continent of America, throughout the Caribbean, and creeping up through Europe as well. So, um, North, South, Central, Latin America as well. Okay. So if we're asked what the group is and why do we do what we do as the real Israelites and what the school does. Okay. So better. Now we get a little bit more on what we're saying. Okay. What do we do as a group? So the school teaches the Bible. That according to the Bible, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. And we teach what's in the Bible. We go through all the records and history of our people, our family, our present, past, and future. If anyone has any in-depth questions, they can, of course, contact the school and get more information. What you don't want to do, what you don't need to do, is get into a long, drawn-out battle, information and things like that. They can contact the school. Most people will not contact the school. Many people are not actually trying to learn. They may be sincere. I don't know. Many people are not actually trying to learn what's in the Bible. In fact, a good percentage of the people are looking for ways to discredit what is actually in the Bible. Many people do know exactly who we are. They've heard of the ISUPK. They've seen the ISUPK. They've been watching the ISUPK for quite some time, but you may not be aware, and they may try to use that to their advantage to make some sort of a point or a spectacle about it. Christ said when he sent his disciples out, he told them to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, because I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Christians are the people outside of here are the ones that hurt everybody. They're the ones that rob people, that lie and cheat and steal and mug and do all the evil things that we're going to talk about tonight, that we can get God's protection by obeying him to be safe from. So not everyone is sincere. They want to learn what's in the truth. They may just be looking for an opportunity to discredit whatever it is that you're believing in. That's usually the first thing that most brothers and sisters encounter when they try to go and tell their mom or their cousin or their best friend, you know, we're the children of God. Jesus is black. Christ is black. God is black. Black people are God's chosen people. We don't come from Africa. This is who we are. They have all the proof here. You should go check it out. You can't eat pork or have Christmas or Easter. Those things make God angry. Usually, once you say these things, the average brother or sister does not want to hear any of it. They don't want to hear the truth. They're not interested in serving the Lord. Hey, shalom, Sister Birgitta. They mainly are looking for an opportunity to use it against you. Now, that's not everyone, but that is pretty common. You may also have a brother or sister or some brothers and sisters who are sincere that they do want to know. Um, you can just tell them those basic things. If they ask you additional questions, like they may see that you don't eat pork. Hey, shalom, brother. All right, they might see that you don't eat pork, but you don't eat shrimp, and they may ask you, well, why don't you eat pork? Or why don't you celebrate Christmas? Why don't you celebrate Thanksgiving? You understand? And in that time, you can then explain to them a little. You don't have to go into a class or a teaching. You know, we don't celebrate these things. These are not good days to celebrate. It says don't celebrate these things in the Bible. Of course, the average person doesn't could give a damn what's in the Bible. But if someone persists and you see they might be sincere, they want to know, you understand, you can tell them what it's actually about. These things weren't in the Bible. Says don't do it, especially around the holidays. Um, Depending on the setting around the holidays, people might not want to, they might want to ask questions why you are not in the holiday cheering, festive spirit. That's usually a time when people might ask questions. Um, if you are, it depends on the scenario, but they can always call the school. Most people won't. If somebody asks who are the Israelites, you just say they're the children of God according to the Bible. So-called blacks and Latinos, Native Americans, that's who we are. This is our culture before we went into captivity, before we went into slavery. There are a number of things that you could say. Most of the time, the average brother or sister is not really interested. Here, you can contact the school, they'll be able to give you more. I'm a student there in the school. They'll call, we'll be able to break down whatever their question is. Chances are they don't really care what's in the Bible, but they may be sincere. So, as a woman, you, of course, want to be not necessarily cautious, which was a part of your question. As a woman, you, of course, uh, want to be sparing with your details, especially all right. We should be good now. Okay. Okay. Many men, they won't call the school. They're not going to call the school. Um, a woman is an easier target to try to make a point with. If they have an issue with the school, which most of the world does, it's much easier to go and try to speak to a woman rather than having to go face to face with the Hebrew Academy graduates that's standing on the street corner calling the oppressor the devil that the Bible speaks of. Get him in hand, graduating the Hebrew Academy, coming through the fire, you understand, going through those trials, through the fire, the furnace of affliction. You understand? Braving and getting it on. Congratulations, those brothers graduated Hebrew Academy. Now, that's something also that you want to be cautious of. Um, so it just depends. They can, of course, call the school number. Not everyone has good and honorable motives for trying to get information, especially blacks and Latinos. Christians are diabolical. They don't usually have good motives for asking any questions about the Bible. Um, they may, looking, especially the more religious of the Christians, the more blessed and highly favored, I know Jesus, I know God, they usually are not receptive to any sort of teaching or correction, anything that may conflict with their beliefs. A lot of people like to try to say that we are pushing our beliefs on people, which is absolutely false. In fact, so like we actually telling people, do not come in here, do not be one of us, do not believe what we believe, do not take our word for it. Here is the books, here are the scriptures, here is the resources, here are the lectures. You can go and find these documented things for yourself. If you do not believe us, do not take our word for it. You can go look it up yourself. That's why the school is called Universal, which is not isolated, it's across the board. Practical, meaning it makes sense. Knowledge. You understand? It's a school for Israelites that teach universal practical knowledge. That's the name of the school. All right. So that's what they can do. We're Israelites. We keep the laws that's in the Bible. You want to learn more about it, you can contact the school number. There's a UPK school in Virginia. Here's the number. All right. They want to ask you more. Why you got your head wrapped? What is this Passover? What is, why you're not eating leavened bread? All those things. It's a commandment from the Most High. It's in the Bible. We keep them what God's traditions are. I've never heard of that. I've been going to so and so, and I believe, and you'll hear this a lot. So and so in my family is a pastor or a minister. You understand? Well, the Christian church doesn't teach what's in the Bible. That's why most of our people have never heard of it. That's why our school teaches how to correctly obey what God says. That's what's in the Bible. Something like that, depending on your setting, depending on if this is someone that you know personally, it'll be wise to not get into um, these long drawn out debates or explanations at your slavery. You're there at your slavery to pick cotton, not plan an uprising or a revolution or a slave revolt. That's why it's called a slavery. So, it depends on different scenarios, but that's all you got to do. Anybody want to know more, they can call the school, which they most cases will not do. All right. Break down to 1 John 5. All right. No sweat, sis. I'll get to that. I think it was another question before you. Let me know if that answers your question, because I'm gonna get some more. All right, Sister DeBar. So I got a breakdown question of Luke chapter 16 and verse 8. 7:45. Luke 16 and 8. Luke chapter 16. Let's see. Okay, let's get Luke chapter 16 and verse 8. So we got Luke chapter 16 and verse 8. All right. You go ahead and unmute your mic. Give me Luke 16 and 8. Across the bar. Bubba Shaw. Luke 16 and 8.
All right. Luke chapter 16, verse 8. And the Lord commended the unjust steward.
All right. It says, and the Lord commended the unjust steward. Let's get this here. Okay, you can't start at 16 and 8. That's a whole lot that's going on.
Come. You want me to go up there
so
about
you got to start up. Yeah, you damn near got to do this whole thing
Whole thing.
because
Come,
nobody
come,
gonna know what it's talking about.
come, come,
Yeah, start at 16 and 1.
come, come. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 1. And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man.
Right, there was a rich man who had wealth and power. He was very rich. All right, keep going.
Which had a steward.
A steward, someone that is in charge of managing his affairs. He's a rich man. He's not managing everything himself. He has a steward, someone whose job it is to make sure that all the affairs of his rich taken care of. Go ahead.
And the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods.
The rich man was accused, the steward, the one that was supposed to be responsible for taking care of the rich man's wealth, he was accused of doing a bad job. He did not take care of his wealth properly. He was a bad steward. He wasted the resources that the rich man had. He was terrible at it. Keep going.
Verse 2. And he called him.
He called.
And
he said, listen, go ahead.
And said unto him, how
he called
is it
and he's
that,
talking to him.
Come. How is it that I heard this of thee?
How do I hear that you messing up the money? You messing up my resources. All of this wealth and riches that I have, you supposed to be in charge of making sure everything is straight. I put you in charge. How is it that I hear that you messing everything up? Keep going.
Give an account of thy stewardship.
Give me records of what it is that you have done. Where are the records as to what you've done with my resources, with my wealth that I put you in charge of? That's what he's saying. Keep going.
For thou mayest be no longer steward.
You are no longer going to be a steward. You're not going to have this job anymore. I'm going to get rid of you because you're terrible at it. You'll no more be a steward. Keep going.
Verse 3. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do?
The steward says to himself, he says, what should I do? How am I going to handle this? You understand? He don't give a damn. Let's see what he says. Keep going.
For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship.
My Lord, this wealthy, rich, powerful man that I'm supposed to be his servant and maintain his affairs with his resources that he entrusted with me, he took away my job. He threw me away because I'm terrible at it. And I wasted his resources. Keep going.
I cannot dig. To beg, I am ashamed.
He said, I can't dig. I can't go out and work and get a regular job and work a 9 to 5. I can't go out and do that. Look at who I am. I'm supposed to represent the steward. I'm supposed to have power because of the job that I have. You understand? Keep going.
Luke chapter 16, verse 4. I am resolved what to do.
I know what I'm going to do. I have an idea. See, the wealthy, powerful man that I worked for, that I was supposed to do a job that I did a terrible job at, and I wasted all of his resources with the position that he gave me. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Keep going.
When I am put out of the stewardship.
When I get fired from the wealthy, powerful ruler that threw me away because I'm terrible at the job. Keep going.
they may receive me into their houses.
Then, now that the wealthy, powerful man threw me away, now the people will receive me into their houses. Who and what is this talking about? This is talking about your Christian preachers and all of the religious leaders that are in the Black, Latino, and Native American community. The Lord threw them away because they're terrible. They're terrible at taking care of the stewardship of the Lord. They're terrible at teaching the Bible. They're terrible at ruling over Blacks and Latinos. We're getting killed. We're going missing from the reservations. We're destroyed. We're starving. And they have billions of dollars of God's money that they collect in the name of being a steward or a representative of the king, of the Most High, the rich, powerful ruler that controls so much resources that they so carelessly mismanage. They say God has rejected them, so I'll go straight to the people. Instead of that, and when the people see me, they'll think I represent God. That's what happens in every one of your preachers. That's what happens in every one of the Christian churches. That's what happens in every religious group, the Nation of Islam. You understand, the Back to Africa movement. This is what constantly happens because our people are suckers. They will accept any and everyone because they don't have the laws of God and they refuse to obey the laws of God. They don't want to hear we can't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. They don't want to hear we can't rob and unalive. You can't have sex with another man's woman. You can't live an alternative lifestyle, kill your babies. A woman cannot leave her husband because he gets another woman, you understand, because she's mad at him and go out and have sex with another man, you understand? Like they don't want to hear what God says, that a woman is not equal to a man, that there is no equality. You understand? That a woman is not supposed to teach the Bible. He didn't give them permission to lead the home and rule over the house, even if they do have the ability to earn more of the money. You understand? You don't have that ability. They don't want to hear that. They want feminism and LGBT and gayness and church and choir and women's empowerment and Africa and weed and Percocets and idols and tarot cards, burning sage, crystals and colorful rocks. They want any and everything. So these scammers who are soothsayers in the Bible, who would have been unalived in a righteous society because they will scam and rob you and teach you to believe in a God that is not real while they get rich, which is what we're getting ready to read, and you suffer and lose your lives and your homes and your cities, which is exactly what has happened since we've turned to Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Rastafarianism, the Democratic and Republican Party. We've lost everything generation by generation. Keep going, Akal.
Luke chapter 16, verse 5. So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him.
So now he still has the records. Remember, he was a steward. He used to work for the rich ruler. He still has the records and the information. He knows what all of the debtors, everyone that owes the rich rulers, everyone that owes the Most High, he knows because he was supposed to. He's pretending to be a man of God. He's pretending to be a steward of the things that the rich ruler has, that he was fired from because he was terrible. That's why Christ had to raise up new disciples, because the religious leaders had wasted God's resources on living good for themselves and not taking care of the poor and the infant and the needy and the widow and the fatherless, which is what the resources are from the Most High to do, that no one does outside of the Isupk. No one. Keep going.
And said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord?
See, he called up the debtors. This is what Christian preachers do. They call up the debtors, those that owe a debt. We owe our lives to the Most High because we refuse to obey him, and he sent his son Christ to give his life so that we will have an opportunity to turn back and serve the Lord because of the curses that the Most High put on us for disobeying him. So now he calls up the people, the debtors, the sinners that owe the Most High. We owe the Most High. The Christian church says Jesus paid it all. Jesus paid it all. Well, he did pay for it. And because he paid for it with his life, you owe Christ. You are in debt to Christ. You understand? We are all in debt to Christ. So he's using this metaphor, this story, this parable, saying that the steward, who everyone thinks represents God, everyone thinks represents this powerful ruler, and he calls the people that he knows owes God. He knows that this man living an alternative lifestyle owes God because God said you cannot be an alternative lifestyle man or woman. That's a crime according to God. You will lose your life. You cannot be a drug dealer, which is a witch. God will take your life. You cannot be a thief. You understand? There's punishments for being a thief. There's punishments for being a murderer. There's punishments for you understand, being an SAer, forcing men and women and children to have sex with you. You understand? There's a crime for that. You aren't allowed to get high and be a witch, be a drug addict. You understand? Drinking your damn cough syrup for a buzz, smoking weed and tobacco for a buzz, cracking cocaine and shooting up heroin for a buzz, or because you're sad or because it's Tuesday. You understand? And you're poor, and your neighborhood doesn't have any resources, so you'll get high. You aren't allowed to do that, and that is a heavy debt. You were never allowed to have sex with that man's wife. That is a death penalty offense. You were not allowed to kill your baby sister. That is a death penalty offense. You were not allowed to throw your man out of the house because you got tired of him, because you had another man that you thought that relationship would be better, so you got rid of one for another because democracy empowered you to move on with your life. Well, those things you owe the Most High for that evil, for eating pork and shrimp and crab and celebrating birthdays and Easter and Mother's Day and Father's Day. Those things are debts that is owed to the ruler. But this wicked man, who is not a steward of God anymore, who does not represent God, this wicked man will then ask you, how much do you owe? That's what it's saying here in this metaphor. Keep going.
Verse 6, and he said, 100 measures of oil.
He said, this is how much debt that I owe. I'm using this as a metaphor. He's using how much money do you owe? Because as a metaphor here, I'm explaining, breaking it down. He's saying, how much do you owe? Well, I owe the Lord for all of these things that I've done. I owe the Lord for all the crime and all the things that I've mentioned there. He owes the Lord a heavy debt for stealing, for robbing, for unaliving. You understand? For being a terrible, wicked bastard. So he says, how much do you owe? And then he gives a number. He gives an amount of the debt that he owes to the ruler, to the Most High. Keep going.
And he said unto him, take thy bill.
He said, go and give me your bill. Take your bill, because you owe for all of this evil that you've done. And you pay the debt for the evil to Christ that he died for by you no longer being a drug dealer. You have to stop living an alternative lifestyle. You have to stop getting high. You have to stop shooting people in the streets. You have to stop being a witch. Stop being a drug dealer. Stop getting shape-ups, shaving your face. You have to stop. Cut the dreadlocks off. You owe for this evil, worshiping other gods. You have to stop. But he says, These things are on your bill. This is the evil you've done that you owe to this ruler. Write something different on your bill. Keep going.
And sit down quickly and write 50.
Read it again. You broke up a little bit. Everybody give me a 1. Let me know if you can hear Officer Costa Park clearly. While they do that, go ahead and read it again and call.
Come. And sit down quickly and write 50.
Now you owe 100. You owe 100. But he says, hurry up and write 50. He's saying, quickly write 50. Quickly, hurry up and write down 50. You have the bill. They think you represent the Most High. They think preachers represent the Most High. You write the bill. Change the amount that you owe. Write 50. Because everyone thinks that this man represents God, represents the rich ruler. You don't think that there's a debt to pay so that you do not rule over a man. You don't think there's a debt to pay so that you do not abort your babies, so that you don't teach your granddaughter and your sister and your best friend to kill the baby because they're poor after they've already had sex to make a baby. You don't think there's a debt to pay for smoking weed and cigarettes, for voting, which is a great crime against the Most High. Take and write 50. You don't have to do all of that. All you have to do is just pay tithes. Just give me money, pay tithes. That's why when I started the class, I said the God that Christians worship is the white man's money. Because as long as they have money, God is blessing them. God is on my side. You see, look at this money I got. Look at this house and this truck. I don't have to obey God because the white man will provide everything that I need as long as I go out and earn his money. So I don't need God. The witches are praying to God. The prostitutes pray to Jesus. The drug dealers pray to Jesus. The drug cartels pray to the Virgin Mary and Jesus. The child molesters pray to Jesus. The human traffickers pray to Jesus. The unalivers pray to Jesus. They all get in the courtroom and they're all doing the same prayer. They're all celebrating Easter. They're all celebrating all the Christian holidays because no one has taught them that they owe Christ. They owe a debt to Christ. They're told that they don't owe anything. All you have to do is just appease the man that you think works for God. Keep going.
Luke chapter 16, verse 7. Then said he to another, and how much owest thou?
And he said to another one, how much do you owe? Go ahead.
And he said, 100 measures of wheat.
I owe 100. I owe a debt. I owe a debt. You understand? These are metaphors. What do I owe the Lord? Keep going.
And he said unto him, take thy bill and write 80.
Take your bill and write 80. 4 is the multiplier. Score means 20. So 80 is 80. You owe 100, but write 80. What is this man doing? He is shortchanging the wealthy ruler. Christian preachers teach our people to short God what we owe him. That is the whole purpose of Christianity. We owe our lives, our obedience, our strong sons to build up his army. You understand? Our daughters to support and build up the nation. Our obedience to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. His loyalty to Christ, who he sent to give us an opportunity to turn back and serve God again. We're supposed to follow his example, not vote for a new leader in every city, in every town, in every ville, in every county, all in the Senate, all for the president. You are not supposed to choose your leaders. God raises up our leaders. Our people have been voting and making mistake after mistake. The first time black people got charged up to vote, a traitor, one of these unjust stewards that represented God in the eyes of the people, Reverend Jesse Jackson. He said to get Planned Parenthood, a woman's right to choose to unalive her baby, to stick a pair of pliers in her womb and twist the baby's head off and pull the baby apart piece by piece, like you break down a chicken you just roasted in the damn oven. And by the millions, because of one of these evil, wicked stewards, Christian preachers, Reverend Jesse Jackson, that everyone thinks represents God, represents progress for Black people, represents the civil rights movement, one of these people that God hates. He comes straight to your home because he talks so well. He speaks so nice. He got on a suit. His hair is slicked back. He old good English talking nigga. Just like Martin Luther King and Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton is the reason we have drugs in the community today. Before, back in the community, in the neighborhood, you could not be a drug dealer. Back in the 60s and the 70s, the 50s, you couldn't be an open drug dealer. White people had the drugs. White people had the heroin. White people had the powder to put up your nose. White people had all the pills to get together and have a pill party. You understand? A farm party. Sniffing glue, huffing paint, sniffing aerosol cans, taking the medicine, you understand, to use it to get high instead of medicating for an illness or a pain. The oppressor did that. They did it. And the more and the closer we got married to them, which God told us never to do, the more we took on their customs. You would be beat. The community would chase you out. No fathers wanted you in their community. They had to make communities without fathers. They would break your arms and your legs for trying to turn his son into a murderer or a thief or breaking in houses or cars. You understand? Or destroying the neighborhood, turning everybody into addicts. It was never accepted anywhere. But they had to, how else can you bind the strong man and spoil his goods and take over his house unless you move him out the picture? All of this was done using Christian preachers. The people everyone thinks represent God. That's how it was done. Keep going.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 8. And the Lord commended the unjust steward.
The Lord commended the unjust steward. He commended him. Why? It says the Lord commended the unjust steward. Now we get to Officer Yagadar's question. Keep going.
Because he had done wisely.
Because he had done wisely. The Lord commended him because he did a wise thing. You understand? Why would he commend him for doing this wise thing? When you start at the top, it says there was a certain rich man which had a steward. The same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. He wasted my goods. You wasted my wealth and my power that I had. You understand? So and now we find out in verse 8, the Lord commended the unjust steward. The ruler commended the unjust steward. Why? Because he had done wisely. He did wisely. Give me the rest of verse 8. We'll see what's going on here.
Khan. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light.
See, the children of this world, that's why the Bible says, love not the world. Don't love this world, this age, this society. The children of this world, they're slick. They're wise. They talk a good game. They have smooth words. They'll make you feel like everything gonna be all right. Everything gonna be all right. After you get high off the music and finish crying and walk up and throw some money, go to the altar, put your money down, they crying, you get a high off the experience. They're wise. They put on a good show, and now they're able to get more. They're able to get more going to the people and disregarding God altogether. The Christian church takes in $11 billion, billion with the B, not million with an M. $11 billion from the people who they rob, whose houses they steal, who they scam, whose children they abuse, whose wives they pass around and tell them to leave them and throw them out the house and put them on child support. The same children that they empower sisters to abort. Same alternative lifestyle that's giving our people AIDS and hepatitis. You understand? And destroying our people. They're able to get more resources from the people so that they don't need God at all. Because to the people, they represent God. And they're wise. They're crafty. You understand? And the wicked man that has the wealth and the power in this world, in this society, he's now saving money. He's getting more money from them because they will pay for a liar and a scammer to lie to them, even if it costs their lives. Your mother would rather hear she can pray over pork rather than hear you say, I went to class, Mom, and they said in the Bible that Christ did not do away with the law. And they were teaching to keep God's laws in the New Testament. And God's laws said that we're not supposed to eat pork. It's against God and it makes God angry. Mom, grandma, and all the church ladies that you know would much rather hear an openly gay preacher like Eddie Long that is accused of SAing 6 children, 6 boys that look up to him like a father figure. They would much rather listen to him for the privilege of thinking God is okay with them eating pork, rather than listen to you say what's in the Bible. This is why Christ taught his disciples separate breakdowns, and he spoke to the people in the street using riddles. He did not want most of the people to understand what he was teaching because they hated God. They've always hated the Most High. Our people never wanted to obey God. Never. Not at any time did our people want to obey God. Our people were forced to obey God in that wilderness. Because if you didn't, the angel opened up the earth and 9,000 people died at once. So the only people that didn't die were the ones that would obey God. See, the Christian church has lied. That's why we're talking about this tonight, saying God's laws bring a level of protection for blacks and Latinos. The Christian church lied to our people saying God is okay with whatever you want to do, as long as you just praise God. Meanwhile, our people dying in record numbers in every city. That's why out of all the people Christ interacted with, even the Romans who stripped him, whipped him, beat him, fed him vinegar, stabbed him in the side, put a crown of thorns on his head, marched him up a hill in his drawers in front of the entire city to see and watch him, and then ultimately nailed him to a cross where he ultimately died of suffocation after hours of hanging on a cross. You understand? He didn't curse any of them out. He did curse out the religious leaders. He hated them openly. Every chance he got to speak to them, he cursed them out thoroughly because they are the destruction of our people. The lake of fire is made for the false prophet. All those religious leaders that continue on to keep this lie of Christianity and all these religions going, God is sending thermonuclear destruction to vaporize them, along with all the militaries and governments of our enemies that we pray for every high holy day and every Sabbath service. You understand? That leads up to the return of Christ, where he and the angels bring more destruction and we get our salvation. So that's what this is talking about right here. The wicked ruler gets to save his money because he's an evil rich bastard like T.D. Jakes or like Eddie Long, and he will put in power another wicked man under him, which are all the rest of your preachers. All your preachers is looking up to T.D. Jakes until they find them secret tapes of T.D. Jakes getting greased up with that P. Diddy baby oil at the Diddy freak off parties with J Lo and Young Miami and Justin Bieber and all kind of little kids and everybody else getting drugged up with ecstasy mixed with baby powder, mixed with baby oil in the damn ecstasy. You understand? At Diddy's special get your record contract parties. You understand? Then all of a sudden, TD Jakes has back-to-back strokes. Emergency surgery is needed all of a sudden. You know, the next day that Diddy get arrested. The Lord is destroying this place. All right. That's what the Lord is talking about there. And then let me know if that answers your question, Yagadar. It's a very good story. The children of light, the children that obey the Most High, are not as slick as the wicked rulers. They're not as slick because the children of God are sincere. Somebody asked me about the truth. This brother may want to serve the Lord. He may want to turn his life around. This sister may want to change her ways to come and serve God. I sincerely want to talk to her. I would sincerely want mom to know, hey, mom, Jesus is black. Grandma, Jesus is black. The oppressor is the devil. You're not supposed to force yourself to love white people. Abuela, which is grandma in Spanish. We don't have to love the oppressor. ICE is attacking Latinos because the white man is the devil. Jesus is not a white man. Mary was not a white woman. You don't have to do any of these things. Like, this is our identity. We're supposed to be with black people, not white people. We don't come from Asia. We really come from the Middle East. Nobody gives a damn. You understand? The children of this world are scammers. That's why they fit so well together. There's nothing that goes too far that they will not accept. Nothing. Because the only thing standing in their way is the Isupk. That's it. There's nothing else standing in their way. Nasty Nate is a gay man. Big Frida is an alternative lifestyle man. Shimmying and twirling around, trying to seduce another man to dance with him like a damn prom date. These are alternative lifestyle groups. You had something to call?
Con, sir. Yes, I was just
yeah,
con. Yeah, I was wondering from this parable. I looked at verse 9, and it made me think about earlier in the parable. He said that he wouldn't be able to work if the steward fired him, and he wanted the people to receive him. I believe into it, their habitation.
Yes.
And
Christianity makes people. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, come. Verse 9 says something else about that. So I'm kind of wondering, what is it, that he what did he mean by that?
All right, let's get verse 9. Well, just before you read that, I just want to clarify so that everybody understands what you're saying. What the officer calls the part is saying that when it says in verse 3, the steward said within himself, what shall I do? Because he don't want to, Creflo Dollar does not want to go and get a construction job next to you. He think he better than you. He don't want to go work a 9 to 5 and a 6 to 10 for him because he better than you. You supposed to go and get his money. He not supposed to go out and earn money with you, next to you. They're better than you. That's why when you ask the church for help, they don't have nothing. They tell you to pray about it. When they need that money, Marvin Sapp say, lock the door. Got to get some straightening going around. I need 40 grand. It's 100 people in here. Everybody run them pockets. But we're gonna start hitting people up. Come on out them pockets. Lock the door. Ain't nobody leaving anywhere. You understand? They get into the real spirit of Christianity. You want to know why your brother, your cousin, your mother, your aunt, your dad is in jail for robbery? Because he was raised to be a Christian. And the real spirit of Christianity is not that singing and dancing, we love Jesus, nice, sweet, wholesome thing. It's the spirit of robbery. It's the spirit of a gun in your face if you don't give me what I want. It's the spirit of violation and crime and abuse and scamming and lies to destroy the simple and the weak and the needy of a predator. That's the spirit of Christianity. That's the true spirit. That's why when you go to court, the little old church ladies and the church mama is the one sitting in the courtroom talking to the judge about that ain't my baby. My baby wouldn't have done that. My baby ain't shoot them people. He's a good boy. Ma'am, your son shot 5 people. We got the nigga on camera. They lying on my son. My son didn't, ma'am. We got eyewitness testimony from 5 people saying your son was the leader. No, he wouldn't do nothing like that. He's a good boy. I raised him in the church. You understand? That's always, every time you go to court, the next time you go to court, sit there and listen to a couple of the cases and look for the religious mama to come out there saying, he's really a good guy, Your Honor. He really ain't bad. He really a good guy. They always do that. Because instead of Christianity teaching you to be perfect, which is what God requires, they teaches you to, just feel good about it. Try your best and just feel good. All right. But exactly what you said, Apostle Paul, they don't want to go out and work. They want you to bring them their wealth. And Christians make preachers rich and wealthy. And then they go and take all of that money and they get Prada and Gucci and jets and boats and yachts and mansions, and you get evicted. You understand? It's back on the internet. He doesn't know how to dig in bed. Yeah, it's money. Why do you think them fake Israelites don't want to come into the truth? Because they're getting money. Those fake Israelites with the dreadlocks and the shape-ups, there's no money in saying shalom, because that's what they were taught in One West. But if you say shalom, it's something new. It's unique. It's our own private flavor. It's us doing us. We doing our own thing. We not under them. This is how we gonna do it. Like serving the Lord is something you can do personally your way. That's Christianity. Then they put the baby doll fringes on the t-shirt. We gonna do something different. This is our own way of serving God. Next thing you know, they got the Taliban head wraps around their face, around their head. They wearing Jordans in the damn street speakers. They got signs. They got white men out there. They're getting prostitutes and weed. Nothing matters anymore. It's just full out Christianity saying that I'm an Israelite. That's exactly what happens. They get rich starting in fake Israelite groups because there are tons of brothers and sisters that will refuse to humble themselves and get in all black and get under commanding General YAHANNA. They can just scam like the Christian preachers do and make the purple cats. And if you want to join their purple religion, rather than you coming in the UPK, getting in all black and taught to say Khan Adawan Khan and La Sir, rather than you being a true militant, you can pay him $500 and sign a non-disclosure, and nobody gets to talk about how nasty Nate is robbing everybody. Nobody gets to talk about how they in there teaching rape in the classroom. Your woman don't want to give it to you. You're supposed to just be able to take it. Drug her and take it. That need to come to America. That need to happen to America. Same thing GMS did. This is who you're learning from because you refuse to obey Commander General YAHANNA. You're learning from a sexual deviant, a child molester, someone buying prostitutes, robbing people, a closeted alternative lifestyle man that is obvious to any real man. But that's what you want. Let's get verse 9.
Come. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 9. And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness.
Make to yourselves friend of the mammon. Mammon is the god of wealth. That is what all of this is about. Wealth and money. That if anyone cared about serving the Lord, what the hell is his brother name? When Gorilla Hebrew, when they come out that he is getting his rib to do unseemly things to his backside. And it get put out and exposed all over the internet by his friends, not enemies, his friends, his brothers that he in a fake Israelite group with, that he in turn exposed how they also having sleepovers with their gay best friends. You understand? The people don't care that this is a gay man. They don't care. It doesn't mean that, well, this is wrong. We shouldn't follow him anymore. They want to follow him more after they find out. That's the same thing that happened once Eddie Long got exposed for molesting all those little boys. They didn't want to get, they tried. And when they tried to get away from Eddie Long, they ran to another wicked man who told them to go back, Creflo Dollar. Why did they go to Creflo Dollar? Because Creflo Dollar has wealth. The God that they serve is the white man's money. And Creflo Dollar is a rich man, a rich ruler with many resources that teaches people that they don't have to obey God. Just give him money. That's the God they serve. It's why your son and your nephew sell drugs. It's why your daughter and your sister is selling her tail on the internet. It's all about getting the white man's money. It's why the drug cartels exist. It's why all the gangs in your neighborhood is selling weed in the stairwells. It's all about worshiping money. If there was no money involved, they wouldn't do it. You know they don't believe in it. You know they don't believe in nothing that they saying. They don't believe in none of that garbage. It's all about money, the whole thing. It isn't about serving the Lord. All right. So what does it say? He commended the unjust steward. Keep going. Make friends with yourselves, mammon of unrighteousness, wicked money. You're making friends with wicked men who have money. That's why everybody loved Trump. All the rappers talked about Trump, Trump, Trump. All your rappers talked about Al Capone and John Gotti, the dirty money. We're going to be the mafia, the Sopranos. They love a wicked man, an evil man filled with wicked money and the power that wicked money brings to them. They love that. Well, Christ didn't have any of that. Christ was homeless. You understand? Mattathias, to serve the Lord, left the city where he had power and rulership and went to go live into the mountains because he served the Lord. King David stood with the Lord and ended up living in the field, living in caves, running from King Saul because he served the Lord. You understand? That's why R. Kelly is able to come and molest all the little kids that he wants, and Michael Jackson too. Because Christians worship money. That's it. Bill Cosby was able to drug and have sex with whoever he wanted for 40 goddamn years. Why did nobody say nothing? Because now it's time to get the money. It's time to get the money. It's money time. Cassie was with Diddy for how long? Getting beat, getting passed around, all of this. Now it's time to get the money. It's time to cash out. That's what this was for. It's all a damn scam. This is why the Lord said the love of money is the root of all evil. Not getting money or having money. The love of money is the root of all evil. You understand? All right. Keep going.
That when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations.
Right. That when you fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations, a place that you cannot get out of. Right. You make friends with the money, the mammon of unrighteousness, the God of unrighteousness, that when Diddy falls, you hanging out with Diddy and Diddy falls, Diddy gonna get free. You gonna have to take the rap. You join that gang, when it come time for the gang to get breaking down and the OG to get triple life, you understand? He giving up somebody. He giving up somebody in a lot of cases. They're giving up. It can also be talking about jail. You giving up somebody. When you with your friend and your friend shooting everybody, and it come time for your friend, you like hanging with him because he getting that money. He like to be with the drug dealers. He in the street. He got the big name. That's real popular with the young brothers. They look at him and figure he the best man to be around because he don't know the Isupk exists. So he'll go to be around some murderer, some lunatic, thinking that this is the proper way to go. This is how I get my reputation and my name. You understand? So when it's time for him to do all the years and the life sentences for the shootings he did, he'll just say, it wasn't me, it was Twan. That's my best friend, but he shouldn't have did it. And then you gonna stick to the code of the streets, and he gonna get out and go commit more murders and be a federal informant, and you gonna be holding down the neighborhood doing 15 years for his murder. Because you made friends with an unrighteous man that the Lord says for us not to do. How do you know who is righteous or unrighteous? You better get in the UPK. You better get in here quick. There's a lot more unrighteous than it is righteous. You understand? All right. You could go ahead and read faithful in the least. Read verse 10. Read verse 10 too. You can read 10.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much.
He that is faithful in that which is least. If you are faithful in when you have very little, you'll be able to be faithful in that which you have very much. That's why the Lord don't give our people much. So our people are not faithful with the little things. People would be robbing and stealing, shiesty, janky, cutting corners, doing all kind of evil madness without. If you actually had resources, you end up like Lil Durk, put money on people's head, facing RICO charges with all your murder buddies. Because this is what you were doing when you had little. Now you have much power to do your wickedness. You understand? Keep going.
And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
If you were a righteous man with very little, you understand, and faithful in serving the Lord with very little, this is how the Lord learns that he can trust you with a great deal. You understand? If you only had a few pennies, you only had, you pay your tithes. Show the Lord he can trust you with resources so that one day when he decides to give you more, he knows that he can trust that you will be just with your resources. You understand? You spending up all the Lord's money in your tithes to spend it on yourself and whatever you deem is more important, rather than giving the Lord what is owed to him is 10%. You may find that your portion and his portion disappear because you're stealing from the Lord. Just like Christians steal from God to give to Christian preachers. That's why you end up losing all your money and your wealth, stealing from the Lord. Don't fool yourself thinking you're in the truth and you're not paying tithes. You get a Social Security check, a disability check, you hit the lottery, a family inheritance, some loved one leave you some money. If you find $5 on the ground, your payroll check, your income tax check, any increase that you get, 90% belongs to you and whoever you have to pay or want to pay. 10% belongs to the Lord, which is not yours to keep, not yours to count, not yours to spend. You understand? If you do spend that belongs to the Lord, you have to make that up. And you owe him an additional 5% of what you spent that did not belong to you, in order to make sure that what you owe the Lord is paid. You understand? The Lord said he that is faithful in a little bit of things He can be trusted with much. That's why in the Isupk, a man is tried in fire to see what he can be faithful with, to see what he can stand with, so that one day the Lord may set a crown on these brothers' heads, so that we can rule over much. Because when we had so very little, we stood with the Most High when it was not convenient, when it caused great suffering and great pain and great anguish and sleepless nights and tired mornings. You understand? Going through the trials and the fire of what it means to stand for the Most High, that nobody will do outside of this body. It won't do it. You understand? That's what the Lord is talking about. But a wicked man with little, he'll be a wicked man with much. A wicked, vain, arrogant bastard that would rob and steal so that he can get Gucci and Prada and Louis and all the weed that he wants will become a rich, wicked bastard that will fill multiple closets of shoes and shirts and clothes, you understand, and cars that he can't drive, just to get killed in the streets, being the same wicked bastard having sex with somebody else's woman, you understand, robbing somebody, murdering somebody, being a criminal in things that are against the Lord. Those things you'll do as a poor wicked man, you'll also do as a rich wicked man. This is all the scriptures is saying about. All right. So that should be on that. All right, but that was a very good question. Let's see. I thought it was another question. Was there another question that should answer the sister's question? Okay. Salakia, that's why I go for Sheba. Damn right, Salakia, sir. We pay a tithe on what we may borrow from someone. Okay. That's a good question. You borrowing money is not an increase. That's not an increase. Let's say I need to go to a call support. I say a call support, I need to borrow $20. He's giving me $20 that I already don't have. Him loaning me $20 is not my increase. It's not my increase. I didn't increase. He gave this to me so that I can go do 1, 2, 3. That's not an increase. You getting a loan from the bank, or you getting, that's something different. All right. But that's a very good question. It's a very good question. All right. It's interesting that you asked that, because if someone gave you money, let's say, for example, this came up as well when I was a young man coming up in the school. They would give some of us money to catch the train, to catch the bus, to get back and forth, to going from school to come to camp. And then when I would pay my tithes, they would see I would put the envelope in the tithes. So then they would ask and say, well, listen, we just gave you this to get back and forth here and there. Why is it, where is this? What is this tithe of? And I explained, well, you gave me this money, so I'm paying the tithes on the money. And then they had to explain, well, listen, me giving you this money to get back and forth to do the work of the Lord, that's not your increase. This is you being able to travel to do the work of the Lord. You understand? So pay tithes on what we may borrow from someone. It's not your increase. All right. That's not your increase. All right. But that is a good question. All right, Salakia, if you have nothing, okay. A breakdown. I thought it was a third question. I don't know if we already did it. I don't see it here in my chat anymore. I thought someone else was a sister that had a question. Okay, it was. There we go. A breakdown for First John 5 and 16. All right, no, so let me get First John 5 and 16, and then we'll come to across the pause question in First Peter.
Con. This
All
is
right,
the book.
Instagram, we're gonna switch to the other channel. Go ahead, call. I'm just switching
Con.
channels.
This is the book of First John, chapter 5, verse 16. If any man see his brother sin, a sin which is not unto death.
Right. If any man see his brother sin, which is not unto death. There are some sins that you commit, you lose your life. Adultery is one of those sins. You have sex with another man's woman, your life is supposed to be over. You understand? What else is a sin unto death? You worship another God. That is a sin unto death. You don't get to choose what God you want to serve. You choosing any other God besides the Most High. In our kingdom, in a righteous kingdom, not the current one that we are in now, you lose your life. That life is over. You want to serve Caesar Borgia, Allah, the rock God, the moon God, weather God, but all your life is over. Those are sins unto death. Life is over. Man with another man, that life is done. You having sex with an animal, that life is over. That animal's life is over. That's game over. So if a man sees his brother or his sister commit a sin that is not unto death, something else that you don't die, like telling a lie. You tell a lie, you say it was 5 here, it was really 15, you stole 10, you don't die for stealing. You don't lose your life for lying. You understand? In most cases. All right, so keep going.
He shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death.
Okay, hold on. Get this back up here. So, like, in what verse is it? 16?
Con.
Okay, hold on. Let me get there. First John 5 and 16. First John 5, 16. Okay, bear with me just a moment. Take a look at it. Let's skip up a couple of verses. Bear with me just. Doesn't believe it not. Bear with me just a moment. And the Son, the Lord, Father, and the Spirit. God overcome. This is okay. This is the love of God. We keep his commandments. This is where we started. First John 5. We receive witness of men. The witness of God is greater. Son of Man hath witness in himself. This is the record. God hath given us eternal life in his Son. The Son has the life. That's why we serve the Son. Believe in the name of the Son of the Most High. We may have eternal life, believing and following Christ, that ye may believe on the name of the Son of God. That's his reputation. His reputation, this is the confidence we have in him. Ask anything according to his will. If we know that he heareth us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desire of him. Any man see his brother in a sin, which is not unto death. He's committing a sin, but it's not something he has to die for. He shall ask, he's going to ask, right? And he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. He's going to give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. We know whatsoever is God sinneth not. He that is begotten of the Most High keepeth himself, and the wicked one toucheth him not. We know we are children of God, and the whole world life wickedness. The Son of God has come, has given us understanding that we may know him that is true, and we are in him. I'm just checking the verses of and above it. There's a sin that's unto death. He shall ask. He's going to ask someone, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. He's going to give him life. We know that life is explaining to him that this sin, he sees his brother do a sin that's not unto death. He shall ask and shall give him life for them that is not a sin unto death. What it seems like it's saying, I'm just checking to make sure the verse is above it, because there's a sin that is a sin that you die for. This is not a sin that the brother is doing that you don't die for. You're supposed to speak to that brother and give him life. The Son have life. This is what it's talking about in verse 12. He that hath the Son have life, and he that have not the Son have not life. It's talking about the confidence of whatever that we ask of the Most High because of Christ. The previous verse, the previous few verses is saying in verse 13, these things have I written unto you that believe in the name of the Son of the Most High. The name of Christ, for the sister that asked this question, the name of Christ is his reputation. Is not repeating the word Jesus, Jesus, Jesus like Candyman or Beetlejuice, repeating it into a mirror like a seance or a spell. The name of the Son of God is Christ's reputation, how he acted, what he thought, how he operated, the things that he did. My name is my name. It's talking about his reputation. These things have I written unto you that believe on the name. Believing on the name is believing in his reputation, that ye may know that ye have eternal life because of the reputation of Christ, and that ye may believe on the name, the reputation of the Son of the Most High. Now that you know Christ's reputation, you know how he lived, you know how he operated, you know his mission, you know why the Lord sent him, you know that he died to give salvation unto Israel. You know how that's accomplished because these schools, brothers and sisters, are being taught in these schools the name of Christ, his reputation, how to be in the truth. This is what we're doing now in these classes. This confidence we have that we have in him. We can be confident because we've actually been taught about Christ. If we ask, here we go, anything according to his will, he will hear us. What is his will? His will is that Israel shall be saved. His will is we come into the truth. We obey the Most High, which is us following Christ. If we ask in his will, he will hear us. This is who we're asking. We're going to ask Christ. Verse 15. And if we know that he hears us, if we know that he hears us, whatsoever we asking again, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him. Whatever we ask, the petition is what you're asking. We have whatever we ask of him. If any man see his brother sin, he see his brother commits a sin, which is not unto death. This is a sin that's not unto death. He shall ask. What is he going to ask? He's talking about asking Christ, because this is what we just read in the previous few verses. He shall ask, he's going to ask Christ, and he, just Christ, shall give him life for that sin, not unto death. Christ is going to give him life. How is he going to give him life? Because he's now going to learn to not do this sin. There is a sin unto death. There's a different type of sin that you do where you just die. I do not say that he shall pray for it. I'm not going to say I shall pray for it. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray about it. That is something that Christians say all the time. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray about it. The Bible does not teach you to pray about all of these things. Actually serving Christ means you have the ability to actually do something about what people are praying about. I'll give you an example according to what the scripture is saying. I need to be able to read it because I need to be able to go through what the scriptures is saying above it to break it down properly. And then I'll have you pick up reading in just a moment to call support. So let's say a brother is coming into the truth, because this is about brothers and sisters that are coming into the truth. How do we know this? Because when we started John chapter 5 and verse 1, it says, whosoever believe that Yahawashi is born of the Most High, and everyone that loveth on him, that loveth him, loveth the Most High. We know we are the children of God if we keep his commandments. The only people keeping his commandments are the brothers and sisters in the truth, because this entire book is saying you have to follow Christ. This is Christ's reputation. This is how we did it. Because we serve Christ, we know the Lord will hear us. We are asking these things in his name. We live according to his example. This is talking about brothers and sisters that are in the truth. So now that we get down to verse 16, if I see my brother sin a sin, which is not unto death, I see him doing something that's a sin. I'll give you an example. A lot of times when brothers and sisters come into the truth, they don't understand the dietary law. Because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, they're, hey, shalom, sis. All right? Because the oppressor puts ingredients and you don't know what it is. I'll give you a big one that was a heartbreaker for brothers and sisters coming into the truth. It breaks everybody's heart to find out that tuna is unlawful. There's a certain type of fish that we can eat, that's listed in Leviticus, the 11th chapter. There's certain type of fish that we cannot eat. Tuna and mackerel, which are very popular fish, they are unlawful. You cannot eat catfish. You cannot eat tuna. That means your tuna fish sandwich, your tuna and crackers, your tuna melts. You can't have any of them. Kingfish, a popular West Indian fish amongst the Benjamite brothers and sisters. You cannot eat kingfish. It's a fish like swordfish, mahi-mahi, a very oily fish. That is unlawful. I'll give you another one. Popeye's red beans and rice. Damn near everybody loves Popeye's red beans and rice. When you come into the truth, you now learn that Popeye's puts pork in their red beans and rice, and you can never, ever again for the rest of your life ever eat Popeye's red beans and rice again when you go to eat at Popeye's, because it has pork. So let's say you see a brother, he coming to class, he's trying to be in the truth, the sister's trying to be in the truth, otherwise she wouldn't come to class. Otherwise, the previous 15 scriptures would not apply, because they're not trying to keep the Lord's commandments. They don't give a damn. They can eat whatever they want because they're Christian. So now it says, you see them commit this sin. They eating the red beans and rice. It's not a death penalty offense. You're not supposed to. It's an abomination. It's unclean because it has pork in it. Now you ask and give him life. How do you give him life? What is life? What's life? You got to know some precepts. This is a very good question the sister asks. What is life, y'all? Where are the precepts? Where my Hebrew Academy graduates at? The priest of the Lord. What is life? Right. Oh, all right. Where my preset? Where my preset? Where my priest? All right. Where my preset? Where my preset? All right. Cause the part, go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1. We'll be at 8:58. We going over anyway. Let me just hold up. Bear with me just a second. All right, we should be good now. What is life? Anybody put it in the chat? Let's see. Khan, that red beans and rice. That red beans and rice was a heartbreaker. Damn right, Aharon. There you go, Ah. There you go. Yaquam, okay. But we want a scripture that has life in it. This is a precept of what we're looking for. It has the life. Yes. Laws, statutes, and commandments. That damn right, Princess Tazarai. Laws, statutes, and commandments. Here's the precept to find out what life is. That's right, Sis Raya. That's right. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1.
Okay.
It's on the screen, the call. You can read it. I got it up there. It's on the screen.
Okay.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1.
Right. Baruch 4. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
Right. The book of the commandments of God. Keep going.
And the law that endureth forever.
This law endures forever. It's always good. Keep going.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
Everyone that keeps these commandments in the book of the law, you are going to come to life. You're going to be alive. Keep going.
Come to life, but such as leave it shall die.
But if you leave these commandments, if you leave the book of the law, you shall die. That's what it's saying there. So now when you get to where it says you shall give him life, the life you're going to give him, you're going to give him the law. So now you're going to know, hey, listen, brother, what's going on? You say, con, sir. To say, hey, listen, sis, lock it, sis. You say, con, sir. All right. So, you know, we can't eat that red beans and rice. I see you on your way in and you can't eat that red beans and rice. That red beans and rice got pork in it. Oh my God, I didn't know. Oh no, I didn't know. I did. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's all right. Man, I didn't say, I know. I understand. It's a heartbreaker. It was rough. It was rough for everyone. You can't eat that. Can't have tuna fish either. Can't have catfish, kingfish, swordfish, mahi, shrimp, scallops, crabs, clams, crawfish. You can't eat any of that, sis. That's unlawful. It's got pork in it. Can't eat that, brother. If you see your brother committing a sin, but it's not unto death, he shall ask, ye shall give him life. For that sin that is not unto death, you shall give him life. There is a sin unto death. There's a different type of sin. I do not say that he shall pray for it. You don't want to do that type of sin. You don't want to do that type of sin. and we're not going to pray for it. All unrighteousness is sin. There is a sin that you don't die for. You understand? We want to help that brother, help that sister not be wicked. That's what this whole chapter is talking about. That's all it's saying, sis. All right. To the sister with that question, that's all it's saying. Just let me know if that answered. Then I'm going to get to 1 Peter. All right. We're going to move on. All right. Okay. Most High Christ. Officer called Sapar. 1 Peter 4, 1 through 3.
Come.
Deuteronomy 30 and 19. Right. There we got it. There we got it. Okay, go ahead. We're going to move to the next question. Go ahead.
Okay. Come, sir. Just 1 minute.
All right.
Okay. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. For as much then as Christ hath suffered for us in the flesh.
Right. Christ suffered a lot in the flesh. He died, he was crucified, he was hated. You understand? Go ahead.
Arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
Arm yourselves with the same mind. Christ suffered to serve the Most High. The Christian church teaches, which is what everyone believes in the Bible based on Christianity. Islam is based on Christianity. No matter what you think or believe, is based on, because it's based on the belief that God's laws, statutes, and commandments that were given through Moses are applicable or belong to any other race of people. That the God of the Bible cares about anyone else except God's chosen people. All of that is Christianity. Most High in Christ. It's all right. So arm yourself likewise. Be prepared that Christ suffered for us in the flesh. He had to go through trials and temptations and ultimately ended up giving his life, which was his mission to stand for the Most High. Keep going.
This is really the question I got, sir. For he that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin.
He that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin. You understand? He that's suffering in the flesh, he ceased from sin. If you had a terrible drug addiction to heroin or Percocets or weed, it takes great suffering in your flesh to get off of that weed, to get off of those Newports, to get off of those Percocets, to get off of that heroin. You can do it, but it takes suffering in your flesh. And then once you have defeated it, you understand, now you've suffered in your flesh for it. It takes a great suffering in your flesh. To give me some more examples. Eating pork takes a suffering to want to eat pork or crab or shrimp, and now you know you cannot. You have to suffer. You're used to going to Christmas, and now there is no more Christmas. Your woman is mad at you. Your mother is mad at you. Your children are mad at you. The people who would get gifts are mad at you. The relatives who would need your help to shop for them and to wrap paper and bring toys and gifts and do all of that, they're all angry at you. You suffer being hated and ostracized from your family because you refuse to sin against the Most High. Well, now they don't look for you for Christmas or birthdays anymore. They're not looking for you to help them get some more weed. They're not looking for you to roll up with, to shoot up with, to pop a pill with, to do a robbery with. You may be someone that if anyone upsets you in the slightest manner, General Muhammad talks about this all the time, that you may have been a brother or sister to go upside the head with a bottle or a pipe. Took no disrespect. At any point in time, if you were in the slightest bit inconvenience, you would pull that blade and stab or cut somebody. A lot of brothers and sisters are like that from all the different tribes. It's not anything specific to one particular tribe. Issachar stabbing and cutting, Zebulon cutting, Levi cutting, Benjamin definitely cutting, Ephraim definitely cutting, Manasseh will cut you, Judah will cut you. There's nothing specific to a tribe just because that's what you're familiar with. All right. So you have to suffer through your anger when you would normally just go and harm someone because that's how you feel. Well, now you have to suffer through it, and you suffered in your flesh, and now you don't commit that sin anymore. I'll give you another one. If you were a brother who would go and have sex with another man's woman, a wicked, evil bastard, like all your rappers and celebrities constantly talk about. Well, now you have to suffer through not being able to go and plot a way to get with somebody else's woman. You have to suffer through that. And now, because your flesh is being denied, now that sin no longer has power over you because you've suffered and now you are dead to that thing to where you're not looking to get high anymore. You aren't looking for a robbery. You aren't looking to slash someone who upsets you, always trying to get in a fight, jumping in somebody's face, looking to set it off. You aren't looking for that anymore because now you have suffered in your flesh and you've obtained discipline from coming into the truth, and where we put strict, harsh discipline on you if you want to be one of us. Keep going.
Con. Verse 2, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men.
Well, now the rest of your time, this is how you know this is not talking about once you die the way that Christ died. It's talking about living the rest of your time in the flesh to the lust of men. All those things are the things that men lust after, the things that men desire. So you won't live your whole life based on what their lust is. I'll give you another one. Brothers want to plot to be rich, dealing with any and everything they can to be rich. Mike Tyson told the story. Sugar Ray Leonard also told the story, talking about how he wanted so bad to buy his mom a house. He wanted so bad to be able to go to the Olympics, to get money, to get fame and notoriety, that he allowed his boxing coach to SA him because he wanted to make it so bad. And this was his ticket out. Plenty of brothers have done that to get their rap careers. That's why everybody is hoping that Diddy don't tell. Plenty of sisters have also done this to get into Hollywood, the casting couch. This is your big opportunity. All you have to do is pour yourself out just enough to be accepted into this world, and here comes your wealth. Here comes your riches. You understand? All right. These things here, it's a pain to go through that, to suffer through it and having to stay in poverty or in a lowered state, not being able to fully take advantage of all the wealth and riches that an evil society will make available for you if you compromise because of the lust of the flesh. You understand? So this is also what the scripture is talking about. You understand? You no longer live like everyone else that's in the world. Your life is now about the will of the Most High, serving the Most High. You understand? Keep going.
Salakia. But to the will of God, verse 3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles.
See, time passed in our life to do the will of the Gentiles, talking about the other nations of people. We had enough time in our life where we were Christians, where we were Muslims, while our life was about Easter and Ramadan and getting high and cigarettes and voting and getting our dreadlocks done. You understand? And shaving your face bald and shaving your head bald if your hair is not all falling out, and hoeing and robbing and doing and going to church, which is the worst of them all. You had time when you got ready for church, where you dressed up and it made you think you were closer to God because you wore a suit, because someone wore a suit and they went to church. You thought this meant they were close to God until you found out the horrible things that preachers and ministers do to brothers and sisters, till you had to experience it for yourself. Those religious relatives and cousins and aunts and uncles that everybody's so blessed and highly favored. You understand? Then you actually learn what that really means. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. When times past, that's how we lived our lives, according to the will of the Gentiles. And that time that you did that was suffice, meaning that's enough. You spend enough time living the life of a heathen. Keep going.
Con. When we walk in lasciviousness.
We walked in lasciviousness. What does lasciviousness mean? What is lasciviousness? The Bible dictionary. What is lasciviousness according to the Bible? Where's my Bible dictionary? Who has lasciviousness? Get the definition of lasciviousness. Where do we have? Lasciviousness. Who has lasciviousness? All right, let's get the definition.
It's not in the Bible dictionary.
Take the Bible dictionary.
I don't think it's in that, sir.
Let's check Webster's dictionary then. Webster's dictionary, let's look up lasciviousness. Merriam-Webster.com is one of our textbooks in the UPK. Webster's dictionary. Lasciviousness is lewd, lustful, sexual. Let me get it. How Benny began. Let me get the definition so I can pull it up. I'll give you an example of lasciviousness. Glorious Hebrew letting his woman take a goddamn strap-on pegging kit and ram in his behind. That's lasciviousness. You understand? According to the Webster's dictionary. No, it's a specific thing. It's a specific thing. And I'm going to get the definition of there. They will sexual deviancy. An alternative lifestyle is lasciviousness. You understand? That's lasciviousness. A man laying down with another man, which was Greco-Roman culture. This was going on in them religious leaders. A man having sex with another man's woman. How do we know which is a wrong sexual desires? God gave us specific laws on what type of sex is lawful and what type of sex is unlawful. You cannot have sex with your father's wife, whether it's your mother or any of his other wives. You cannot have sex with any of your father's children, whether it's the children from this wife, from your mother, or from any of his other wives. You cannot force a man or a woman to have sex with you. That's unlawful. That is a sin unto death. You cannot have sex with somebody's child. You get your head bust open. That is the sin unto death. You understand? You cannot have sex with a woman and her daughter, or y'all gonna die. You understand? The Lord gives very specific rules. You cannot be a woman having sex with multiple men for money. That's prostitution. You're out of here. Game over. You aren't allowed to sell your body, sell your tail for money. That's against Lord. There should be no whore of the daughters of Zion. Prostitute not thy daughter, lest the land fall to whoredom. You understand? You aren't allowed to do that. You understand? That's lasciviousness. So these are some examples. Freak offs, big orgy parties, and freak off. You're not allowed to do that. Trains and gangbangs and lesbian orgies and men orgies and orgies, period. This is Greco-Roman culture. The only people whose culture it is not is the culture of the Israelites. That's why God gave us laws not to do it, not to be like the other nations of people. You understand? So let's get some more.
Come. Less.
Right? Keep going. Lust means just desires. There's desires that are lawful, and then there's desires that are unlawful. How do we know which is which? The Lord lays them out very clearly in the scriptures. The Lord sent the prophets to clarify it even more. Then the Lord sent Christ, and he rose up disciples even more clarifying. Keep going.
Excess of wine.
Excess of wine. Too much drinking. Too much alcohol. You understand? Too much wine. The excess of wine. You should not. Keep going.
Revelings.
Revelings. Revelings. That's that uncontrolled partying, like in the Christian church. Everybody jumping up and down and shouting, roaming at the stomping around and buck dancing and jerking in there, claiming it's in the name of the Lord. All of that is against the Lord. They call it a praise break in church. Praise and worship. Start screaming and falling around and roaring and everybody acting just a demon party. All of that is against the Lord. All of it comes from the Greco-Roman culture. The Greeks forced our people that this is now what it means to serve God, not keeping the commandments, because they passed laws that we could not keep God's commandments. That's why it says in times past, you were afraid they were going to kill you, so you did it. Now you can come back and serve Christ. You don't have to be afraid of them that will kill the body for you standing for the Lord. You don't have to be afraid of them because they killed Christ and he rose from the dead. And now if you prepare yourself to stand with Christ, you will also rise with him. And many brothers and sisters had to endure that, being, fighting bears and tigers and all manner of evil that the Greeks and the Romans and everyone else did in order for their empires to get the wealth that they passed down to this day, that everyone wants to pretend that they had no hand in. That's why Christ is coming to punish everyone, and all people are going into captivity when he returns under the children of Israel. So keep going.
Come. Banqueting.
Banqueting. Banquet. Banqueting. What does it mean to banquet? Let's get the definition of banquet. Let's see if it's something else.
Come. Yeah, I just had it pulled up, sir, in the Bible dictionary.
All right.
It's kind of long.
Because the Bible has it written here for a specific reason.
Come.
And we want to understand or break down what the scripture.
Come. It has banquet.
All right.
The Hebrews were very fond of social feasting. There were 3 great religious feasts. Sacrifices were accompanied by a feast. There were feasts on birthdays, marriages, funerals, laying of foundations, vintage sheep shearing. On other occasions, at a large banquet, a second invitation was often sent on the day of the feast, or a servant brought the guest to the feast. The host provided robes for the guests, and they were worn in his honor and were a token of his regard. Guests were welcomed by the host with a kiss.
So, right. So now, the kiss, of course, we know we did not celebrate birthdays. Birthdays was never an Israelite custom. We never did those things. That has always been against the Most High. We have many laws saying not to learn the customs of the heathens. This is why when we are in the New Testament, one of the things it's saying to not do, according to the customs of the heathen in times past, banquetings, always going to a goddamn big dinner party celebration. What were these things? That's why we have the definition of the word banquet here in the Webster's Dictionary. What was the banquet for? The banquet was usually something ceremonious. Our high holy days was not a banquet. Our high holy days are the Lord's feast days. Why does it say watch out for banqueting? The Lord gave us commandments to feast for the Passover, for unleavened bread, for the feast of first fruits, for Hanukkah, which is a memorial. It's not a feast day, but the Lord gave us commandments of what to celebrate. The feast or the banquets that our people began to celebrate ended up coming from the other nations of people. The Christmas dinner is a big banquet feast. The Thanksgiving dinner is a big banquet feast. Halloween is a big feast on candy. Labor Day is a big banquet feast. Party, everybody get together to eat, to have a feast day. 4th of July cookouts is a feast day. You understand? Get together, everybody barbecuing and cooking out. There's a reason why they're having a dedicated feast to someone. You want to be very careful about anything that you're going to for a feast. Who is it dedicated to and why? Churches constantly have big feast banquets. Birthdays, big feast banquets. You understand? A lot of these things are tied to religions, tied to celebrating. There's nothing wrong with, you having a marriage ceremony, even though a ring and a piece of paper is not our customs. That's not marriage according to our people. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not unlawful. But you do want to be careful about all of these banquets. Everybody going to a banquet. Elections are the customs for the winter solstice, the Easter solstice, a bunch of Druid and old pagan holidays that just became around this time. We usually have a big banquet. A lot of those things are still ingrained into society, even though most people don't know what they're for. You understand? So when you come into the truth, which is exactly what he's teaching for brothers and sisters that are coming in to serve the Lord, you want to be careful about all of these things. Going to a damn banquet all the time. All right, so keep going from banquet.
And abominable idolatries.
First Peter 4:3.
Con. Yeah, that's the last part, sir. And abominable idolatries.
Abominable idolatries. What is an abominable idolatry? Praying to statues. Going to Mecca, circling a rock and kissing it, sticking your head in the rock and kissing the rock. That is an abomination. You're not allowed to worship a rock. Going to the Roman Catholic Church and praying to the Virgin Mary, praying to the statue of Peter, praying to the patron saint of this and the god of luck. These things are abominable idolatries. Sacrificing your children to Baal, which is where that abortion came from. Killing your baby, causing them to pass through the fire, to sacrifice their life for a job, for a status in this evil society, or a career because you're poor, you understand, or because you don't want it to mess up your education. That's idolatry, and it's an abomination unto the Most High. All right, go ahead with verse 4.
Con. wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same access of riot.
They think you strange. They looking at you like you strange. You not going to Kamisha birthday party? Everybody gonna be there. Tazariah, you not going? I know you not going to grandma's birthday party. It's her 50th birthday. Ryan, you not gonna go? Hadassah, you not going? Amidal, you not going? All the cousins coming from out of town. It's the big Thanksgiving dinner. You not gonna be there? We're gonna have a music. We're gonna have a party. We done rented out the banquet hall. Grandma gonna be there. All of her old buddies, all of the old buddies in the frat, this and that. You not gonna come? This is the family. You not a part of the family? You not gonna be there? Hell no. I'm not gonna be there. I ain't gonna be there. You know damn well we not gonna be there. You knew before you asked. Several relatives told you not to ask. You did it anyway. Hell no. They looking at you like you're strange. Everybody at the slavery preparing for the Christmas party. Yeah, we gonna turn up tonight at that Christmas party, the office Christmas party. They showing off all the punch, all the eggnog. They got full of brandy. Everybody turning up, ready to hook up in the hallway, in the closet somewhere. You understand? Oh man, we got so drunk. I woke up with so-and-so. I don't know what happened. I can't find my other shoe. You done lost one of your earrings. Damn, I can't find my car keys. Damn, what happened? It was a wild party. People laid out in the bathtub. People half naked on the floor. Somebody's under the bed. All kind of madness. Running to excess of riot and party. That's why a lot of these things get shot up. A lot of people get drugged and abused. Things that the Lord told us not to celebrate because the actual holiday is about drugging and abusing and doing violence. But you don't know because you're not in the UPK. So you celebrate whatever everybody else is running into, and then you get the full experience of the idol, of the holiday that you're worshiping. And it's usually something terrible. Go ahead and finish it off, Cole.
Khan. Speaking evil of you.
Speaking evil of you. They're talking about you like you evil. You understand? You evil. But that's fine. Because we talk about them like they evil. We talk about it. The line is drawn. They on the other side. They made their choice. We made ours. Verse 5.
Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead?
Because you have to give an account to him that is ready to judge, to lay down judgment, to issue punishment and reward for the quick, meaning the ones that are alive and moving, and the dead, those whose life is over and now they're in the grave and their spirit come before the Most High. The quick get judged. The living get judged all the time. Christians talking about don't judge me, don't judge me. Go and be an alternative lifestyle man. That AIDS is a judgment from the Lord. Go and live a lifestyle of having sex with other brothers' women. That herpes and gonorrhea and syphilis is judgment from the Lord. Go and be a woman and think you can go have sex with multiple men if you want to. That HPV, that HVS 1 and 2 is a judgment from the Lord. Go ahead and think you can disregard the Lord's commandments. Eat that pork and watch your blood stop moving. Watch your digestive tract shut down from all the crab and lobster and shrimp that you refuse to stop eating. Watch your legs swell up and no blood get to move and circulate, and you end up losing toes and feet, trying to save your life because nobody wants to hear the Lord's commandments about his dietary law. You understand? The Lord judges the quick, which are alive, and the dead after your life is over. Judgment is not just a one-time thing. That's why it's so evil when Christian preachers say only God can judge me. That's a very evil, a very foolish and dangerous concept that Christianity teaches. I know that was just your question, but I also want you to read verse 6. Read verse 6 as well.
For For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead.
For this reason, the gospel is preached to them that are dead. Does this mean that those that are in the grave, that they're also getting the gospel preached to them? They're dead now. Doesn't make a difference. They were taught. It was preached to them before when they were alive. Keep going.
That they might be judged according to men in the flesh.
They're going to be judged according to the things that men did in the flesh. When you were alive, this is what you did. Now you're dead. The prophets were sent to tell you God does not approve of you living this way. Before you got killed being a robber, trying to break in someone's house, catching a 12 gauge bird shot. Because the first round you got to use bird shot, and then a triple lot buck. You understand? Through the chest and the torso, and it's game over. We're breaking in someone's house. Well, now someone taught you God said, "Thou shalt not steal." You shouldn't be a robber and a criminal trying to be a gangster. Well, you heard it, and now you went on ahead and did it, and the judgment from the Lord fell, and your life was taken in the evil that you chose. Now you will stand before the Lord and be judged for the evil that you did while you were alive. May the Lord have mercy on you. For this reason, that's why. Keep going.
But live according to God in the spirit.
Right. But live according to the Most High in the spirit. Live the way the Lord said. It's a much better life. It's much better. I want to read verse 8, and then we're going to get up out of here. Verse 8 is very important because this is a very common word that gets thrown around that is necessary for you to know the definition of this word. Keep going.
Verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves.
Above everything that you do, have fervent, which is strong charity among yourselves. What does charity mean? We're going to get it in just a second. Keep going.
For charity shall cover the multitude of sins.
Charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Give me charity in the Bible dictionary. It's the last thing we're going to get. Give me charity.
Come. Okay.
While he pulls charity, who wants to give it a shot as to what charity means according to the Bible? Let's see who knows. Yagadar can't answer. I don't want to hear from Yagadar. I don't want to hear from NATAZACH or Yerashima. None of y'all can answer.
Come.
Anybody else? What does charity mean? Well, y'all, real quick. This last thing, we're going to get up out of here. Give it a couple of moments. You have a car, giving freely. Okay. That's what most people think. All right, sis. Good answer. Giving freely without expectations. Okay. That's all right. That's a good answer. Give me some more, y'all. To those in need, giving freely to those in need. Okay. The water for your answer. Come on, y'all. Give me some more. It's the last thing. Where all the sisters at? Got a room full of sisters. Come on, sisters. Where's Tower Ba? There's Hadassah, Tower Ba, Imadah, and Deborah, Tazarai. This is my starting lineup. Come on, y'all. Aharon, Yaquan. Where y'all at? Deep selfless love. All right. It's a very political answer. I'll take it. Selfishness. Love. All right. Is it the water? The water for your answer. While everybody else types their answer, we're gonna get the definition. That's these are it's good. Your answers are good, but it's too vague. It's too vague. And Christianity has made things non-selfish love. Right. I understand. Good answers. Good answers for everyone that did answer the water. Across the park, go ahead and read what charity says in the Bible.
Come,
Read
come.
that definition.
This is the definition of charity in the Zion Van Bible Dictionary. Charity in the Bible never means giving to the poor.
Read that one more time.
Charity in the Bible never means giving to the poor.
God said in the Bible, when the word charity is mentioned in the biblical context, charity never means giving to the poor. Never means giving to the poor. What is charity?
But always a God-inspired love, which includes respect for and concern for the welfare of the loved one.
Right. Not giving. Right. That's a good answer as well. So this is why I wanted to go over this. It's a very important thing. Charity never means giving to the poor. That's not what charity means, but that is what Christianity has taught everyone. Charity does not mean giving to the poor. Charity means a God-inspired love. What is love? Keeping the commandments. This is what charity means. And this is why the Bible says charity covers the multitude of sins. Charity is making sure that brothers and sisters are corrected so that they do not sin against the Lord. Love is to keep the commandments. Charity is a God-inspired love with care to teach brothers and sisters not to eat pork, not to eat crab and shrimp, not to live an alternative lifestyle, not to get dreadlocks, not to shave your face and shave your head bald, not to smoke weed and cigarettes, not to worship the other gods, not to eat any leaven during the feast of unleavened bread, not to celebrate Christmas and birthdays and Thanksgiving. Charity is a God-inspired love with fervent charity means making sure that brothers and sisters are keeping God's commandments. That is what charity is. And by you doing that, that charity will cover the multitude of sins. That's too vague. I understand. I have an idea what you mean. But when you use love, you can't use love to define because love has to be defined. Because to most people, love is a feeling. So when you want to describe something, you got to say, love is keeping the commandments. With the answer specifically is making sure that brothers and sisters are taught and know how to keep the Lord's commandments. That's what charity is. That's specifically what it is. All right. So Most High in Christ. All right. We're going to go ahead and end it there. The water. All right. All right. Most High in Christ. Of course, support. Go ahead and you can read the announcements. Go ahead and read the announcements. Giving alms to the poor. That is what most people think charity is. Alms to the poor or alms, ALMS, that is giving. That's giving. Giving alms is giving to the poor. That's what most people think charity is. It's not the same. All right, across the park away.
Come, still trying to pull it up, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Right. It's very important to distinguish the difference between what charity is and what most people think. Most people think giving to the poor is what God is talking about. That does not teach you to not be a alternative lifestyle man. Giving to the poor does not teach a brother with a terrible, terrible sexual deviancy that he cannot tell his woman to go and buy a fake rod and run in his behind. Giving to the poor is not going to help that brother. Telling him that you cannot do that, and it's a sin against the Lord to be an effeminate man. That's against the Lord. To be an alternative lifestyle man is against the Lord. To ask your rib to do that to you is against the Lord. You understand? Somebody has to tell you that. I understand. No sweat, sis. All right.
Come.
Go
This
ahead.
is
You got it, Apostle Paul.
Come. This is the security announcements. We are the Isupk, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. Give to Treasury Department or a teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We'll be having the Feast of Unleavened Bread coming up Sunday at sundown. And you should be eating your Feast of your unleavened bread. Okay. Oh yeah, and if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a scarf. And that concludes the announcements.
All right. Right now, we're in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Everyone should be eating unleavened bread every day. Corn tortillas have no yeast or leaven. They're the easiest ones to get. If you're in a area somewhere where you cannot make any flour, water, sugar, flour, water, honey, flour, water, cinnamon, sugar, mix it up. You understand? Whatever flour you want, as long as it has no yeast, no leavening, you ball it up. You can put an egg in there if you want. If not, you don't have to. Butter a pan, cook it just like a pancake. It'll be unleavened bread. You have to eat this every day for 7 days. The closing will be this Sunday, just like it was announced. All right. And right here, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. You understand?
Yeah.
Men of Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat to the sisters. Yahweh Shemar Alathon, Hashem Yahweh Shah. With that, let's dismiss. Yahweh Shem Shabbat. All right. Tune in right here. Lasha One Kodash class every Friday. Make sure you tune in. All right. And with that, say shalom. Make sure that you pay your tithes. All right.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
Also, Akim Agwathium, new series coming soon. A few new series on the same ISUPK channel, ISUPK Richmond, ISUPK Virginia. New series, a couple of new series coming. They always get away. Sad, hard lessons, how to earn the Lord's protection, where we go through popular news stories throughout history in the Black and brown community and highlight different things coming out. Get ready. Get ready to tune in, subscribe. Make sure you go back and watch all the episodes of The Bible is Black. The playlist is there on ISUPK Virginia's channel. Somebody put the playlist into the chat so that they can go and see them and watch all of those episodes, the Black Inventor episodes that we did, all of them right here on ISUPK Virginia's channel. You understand? Make sure you go back and watch them and look out for those new reels. Leave your likes and your comments, all of those things.
They're beaten to death. Correction officer.
I guess I should ride with Lex. They talk about man. It's about time, so no curses to our enemies. You can try to run where you going, it's your destiny. You gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get the dawn right, get another legacy.
If gotta do the shit, when I do it carefully. You can lose everything you own over jealousy. When I met her, I ain't never sweat her, I just let her breathe. Leave you down, keep my foot on you, that's not my pedigree. At your throat, I done took an oath, I pray I never leave. I'm a different guy, you're surprised, tucked in my sleeve. Boy, you fucking stupid, sold your seat for some bloody beef. True nation, cut the conversation, better keep it brief.
It's about time, so no curses to our enemies. You can try to run where you going, it's your destiny. You gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy.
It's about time, send them curses to them enemies. You can try to run where you going, this your destiny. Confusion gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy. It's about time, send them curses to them enemies. You can try to run where you going, this your destiny. Confusion gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy. That they don't wanna know, we tell them, they just won't believe. It's about the journey, I ain't worried, moving at my speed. Saying we ain't much to be desired, gotta disagree. Scarring one of mine, then we spinning like rotisserie. Go against the odds, I'm ready, this another victory. Cut different, niggas moving foul, where the referee. Moving like the military, something they ain't never seen. One West world for the people, this is what they need.
It's about time, so no curses to our enemies. You can try to run where you going, it's your destiny. You gotta fall, never rise, that's the melody. What you get to witness, the beginning of a legacy.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.